You are welcome to LFN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show, where we discuss real issues with real people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly. Real name, Robert Sylvester Kelly. Also known as the R&B King. When R. Kelly was whisked into taking the Gayle King interview, which was encouraged and funded by Oprah Winfrey, a team of what CNN presented as body language experts took to the media house to analyze the video, and frame R. Kelly, suggesting he was being untruthful when he broke down midway into the cross-exchange. It looks like these CNN officials were hired to do this, considering they have not picked any interest in analyzing the interviews done by those against the R&B King. If I were the CEO of CNN, I would advise this rather corrupt and single-sided production be taken off the network's YouTube channel, and be completely deleted from their archives, because when things backfire, the world will know how racist some of these media houses are, and CNN will be right at the forefront. Media was created to offer a level playing arena, and not to get into the mix of blackmail and lies, supporting one party yet judging the other, even before gathering any real facts about the matter. And when CNN decided to go in and play, they should have played fair, as anyone would have expected of such a big corporation of professional journalists. When they decided to conduct a body language analysis on R. Kelly, they should have taken time to do the same on those that were rallying against him. Maybe then we would have had the chance to learn that some of them, to give an example, Lisa Van Allen, were actually not being truthful. And by doing this, CNN would be lending a hand to the justice system to arrive at the real truth. It is now known to the whole world that Lisa Van Allen did lie about almost everything she claims took place when she was with R. Kelly. Much as we are majorly concerned with the fact that her stated age when she met R. Kelly turned out to be a hoax, there is so much more evidence to show that almost every negative story she did create against him was equally just another pile of deceitful BS. And this was all aimed at making R. Kelly look guilty for crimes he never really committed. If there was someone looking out for opportunities to bear false witness against R. Kelly, it was Lisa Van Allen. While she was in and out of studios all over looking for space to talk, it turns out Lisa was never a victim after all. But because CNN's intentions were not necessarily to enable justice prevail, they did not bother to instruct their now popular but rather cynical body language experts to look into her interviews, and tell the world whether she was being untruthful. Lisa Van Allen. So how about we help CNN balance the playing field, and try out a body language analysis on this woman? Lisa Van Allen, like all the self-proclaimed survivors, did take numerous media interviews, among which is the one she did with Dr. Oz, which clearly stood out. Before Lisa joined in, Dr. Oz had Crime Online founder and former prosecutor Nancy Grace, who made a fool of herself, making conclusive remarks about what R. Kelly did and what he didn't do, like he had already been to trial. Many of which later turned out not to be true. This is something no one would have expected from a former government prosecutor. She spoke with bias and uncontrolled enthusiasm, like she was a preacher of the gospel telling a sermon from the book of Revelations. I for one will testify, I was bored.
That female family members, young ladies, are being held against their will.
What disturbs me with these reality shows is how the audience, which is always overflowing with hundreds of nothing to dos, will always clap their hands at everything said, like it all is gospel truth, yet many times they are actually lied to, but I will leave it at that. And then later came the long-awaited Lisa Van Allen, who was introduced like the celebrity she had become, with her rather thrilling testimony about how she met R. Kelly at 17, and how she stole one of the tapes that, according to her, had R. Kelly and an underage girl. As we all may know by now, according to what later transpired at trial, it turns out the tape did not have just 2 people but 3, and that the third person was none other than Lisa Van Allen herself. If you notice, Van Allen kept biting her lip before she said anything. And this is what liars do. They keep biting and licking their lips after each lie. Notice that her eye contact is limited. She keeps literally peeping at Dr. Oz. This was not an eye-to-eye conversation. It was more like a catch me if you can, but I am gonna hide. Also notice that all her media interviews she made sure to remind the world she was 17, and with this, even the courts now concur that she was not being truthful. And then when she talks about R. Kelly paying anyone off, she remembers she was his blackmailer, and that she took way over $200,000 from him in these schemes. This explains the endless mannerism with her hands swinging all over the place to emphasize her far-fetched lies. And then the crocodile tears. Also important to note is that during this interview with Dr. Oz, Lisa Van Allen actually did exonerate R. Kelly from claims he was holding anyone hostage against their will, because when she decided to leave, she left. She did not say there was any obstacle she met on her exit, like someone trying to stop her or say, "You cannot get through this door." And this is the narrative the surviving R. Kelly documentary, along with the government prosecutors who described a cult, wanted the world to believe. Sadly, the courts played by all these false claims that were only intended to tarnish the R&B king and determined an enterprise out of nothing. If R. Kelly had been running a cult and enterprise like the New York court suggested, there is no way this woman was going to be able to make it out of that house. I mean, this is what gangs do, they stop you at whatever cost. Why would all this go unnoticed for all that time until the Chicago trial? For God's sake, there was no real alarm to raise any concerns that these people could have lied on R. Kelly even after the New York trial. And it took until the Chicago trial when Lisa herself was too shy and ashamed to take the stand, and had to be literally dragged to court where she gave a testimony that only exposed her ill intentions. This was too bad for the prosecution, and too bad for CNN considering they were involved only halfway and chose to take sides with the corrupt prosecution. But above all, this was too bad for R. Kelly, who became the real victim of people that chose to lie on him and to be untruthful all the way. According to Michelle Ferguson, it's great to know that her lies on R. Kelly were eventually exposed, and that the court does finally acknowledge there is no guarantee that every woman who says "I met R. Kelly when I was underage" was actually underage. What disturbs me though is that during the New York trial, where the prosecution secured a landslide win against R. Kelly, these possibilities were not explored. No thorough investigation was carried out to prove whether any of these now grown women was actually underage when they were involved with R. Kelly. Even if they had been with him younger. We need proof that it was actually happening between them when they were still below age of consent, and this should come with evidence. Not word of mouth. If you wish to take part in a live interview discussing any of these topics, let us know by sending an email to sashalfnmedia@gmail.com for scheduling. Thank you for watching today's video, a production of LFN Media, giving you another perspective of issues at hand. We make it our business to keep you updated with the truth amidst the cloud of lies the media wants you to believe. It is therefore important to subscribe to this channel, hit the bell icon and allow all notifications so that you don't miss out whenever we publish a new video.